Hello everyone, welcome to Word Funk. I am Leon Thomas. I am joined by Austin Yorsky and Johnny Maloney. Just a quick programming note, if you're listening to this on Monday or Tuesday instead of over the weekend, it is because I was out of town from Thursday through Monday morning.
Leon's getting that MagFest money, yo.
As if I'm being paid. No.
I just assume that they have their own currency there, kind of like a Bitcoin situation.
Oh, or like Disney bucks.
Yeah.
You know, Mickey Mouse dollars.
Yeah, Disney bucks. Bitcoin Disney bucks.
Yeah, the truth about MagFest money is that it's just regular money, but you pay more because it's in a very posh neighborhood. And that's like, it's really the worst part about the convention. Whereas like a convention like Con Bravo takes place in Hamilton, so everything is just fine.
You ragging on Hamilton? You ragging on Hamilton, Leon?
No, I like Hamilton because everything is inexpensive and it's just like a medium-sized town and it's fine. Whereas National Harbor, Maryland, is like, it's near DC, but it's like a hipster. It's not even a city. It's like an, I don't even know what to call it. It's like a tourist attraction almost, but it's not.
So it's a destination town.
Yeah. Does anyone live there or do people just vacation there? I don't even know. But yeah, that is why you in the future are listening to this a couple days later. The past week I've made 3 episodes of Renegade Cut instead of my usual 1, and I've also been finishing up the movie, and I'm also recording Word Funk, and something had to be sacrificed, and staying up all night, even though I have to wake up early in the morning to get there. Had to be the thing that had to be sacrificed was me editing Word Funk on time. So I'm sorry, I'm exhausted and I haven't slept much. Speaking of which, Austin.
Why is that speaking of which?
Because that's your MO, dude.
Yeah,
like,
how
you are
you?
Legendarily well known for the fact that you get probably less sleep than actually humanly possible.
I'm on break now, so I'm relatively well rested. That's going to end in a couple days because school starts again.
Yeah.
Good for you, buddy. It's nice to hear that you're taking care of yourself.
I don't know about that. I am making a lot of poor choices in general, but not sleep-related this time, which is a nice change of pace.
Cool.
School is a thing that's happening to me again. I'm taking what should be some more interesting classes. Criminal procedure, which is not the same as evidence.
Is that how we do crimin'?
It's
is it
basically...
like you go into the class and then like somebody just straight up slaps you in the mouth and goes, "That's how you do battery."
Not quite. It's lots of rules, but mostly about like what police can and can't do. So that's going to be exciting. I'm also taking a class on constitutional law, Con Law 2. So we're going to do some of the amendments we didn't do in Con Law 1.
Is this time it's personal?
Yeah, this is when they have to raise the stakes, and instead of how Rambo 1, everyone thinks of it as Rambo 2, but actually Rambo 1 is much more subdued. It's like that.
Yeah.
Or Terminator, I guess, would have been a more accessible reference. Alien and aliens. There's always...
I don't know. Terminator, like in Terminator 1, he still lays waste to an entire police station, which may have something to do with criminal procedure. Because it seems to me that some of that procedure would be criminal.
Yeah, when he rushed his car into that police station, I believe that was the first time that he was in fact back.
Yep.
You nerd. Also, here's a weird thing. I just got my grades back, and I'm happy to report that I did get a B in taxes, which is exciting because I had this unspoken fear in my heart that I would not admit even to myself that I thought I might fail that class, which would have been both just like embarrassing for academically, but also I think damaging to my political psyche because my opinion and stances on taxes are an important part of my belief system. And
Please no Steppy.
Pwease, no Steppy. Of course. Can we do that as the title card image? Is the "Don't Tread on Me" flag, but it's the cartoon snake that says "Pwease, no Steppy."
Sure, if I knew what that was.
I can't believe we've never talked about "Pwease, no Steppy" before. Okay, hold on.
I mean, I've seen memes of the flag, but I don't recall that one specifically.
Okay, well, I'm gonna look that up while I talk. But here's the thing about me is that I enjoy knowing what I'm talking about. That is something that obviously recent events have proven is utterly meaningless, if not a huge downside to how you conduct your life.
Quick twist, Austin. You'd be surprised how many people don't care whether or not they know what they're talking about.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a handicap almost to know what you're talking about. But I try to argue in good faith. So if it turned out I actually had no idea what taxes were or how they worked, that would be damaging to me. So it's nice to know that I know them at a university legal level, which is good.
So does this mean you can hide my millions?
We'll talk off air about that. I learned some cool tax shelter tricks.
My
this
secret,
one weird trick.
no Patreon, regular working job, hidden. Nobody's actually ever gonna believe that I have them. Millions.
I mean, all of mine was U.S. law. I don't know Canadian law, so maybe it's different.
Damn it.
God, there's so much, guys. I don't know if you've ever held the Internal Revenue Code in your hand. It is overwhelming. There's so much of it.
Sounds like it.
For now, like pretty soon, don't you know, it's just going to be like pamphlet sized. And it's going to go, do you have money? If yes, keep it. If no, turn the page. And then you turn the page and it says, give me some.
If yes, and then just a picture of Paul Ryan doing a thumbs up.
Yeah. While doing one bicep curl.
Oh no, now that's in my head. All right, sorry if that was boring. It's something I think about a lot, is my kind of perception of myself as someone who argues in good faith for things I believe in, and seeing the people who disagree with me either being illiterate, mouth-breathing morons, or coming from a place of total self-aware dishonesty. And I don't know, maybe sometimes it's the only thing that keeps me sane, is the idea that the people who agree with me know what they're talking about, and the people who disagree with me are wrong and dumb and bad.
Austin, there's a third possibility, and that the people who who you disagree with, like on moral issues as it relates to the economy and taxes and whatnot, it is a very strong possibility that they do know what they're talking about, but they just don't care. Like they know that this is bad for so many people, but they're like, oh, but this is good for me, and that's all I care about.
That is a very strong possibility. I know a lot of people, weirdly enough, young men, who don't care.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who are in fact like knowledgeable or clever even, but are also just shit. So that's like a fun third thing to complicate your life and your worldview.
Thank you.
Yeah, why not?
I mean, I know it exists because I read a lot of Scalia opinions. I'm just saying it's surprisingly rare to find someone who can spell their own name who also thinks taxation is theft. That Venn diagram does not have much overlap.
Okay, that's fair.
It is very fair. It's exceedingly fair. Right. Do we want to talk about 2018? I think the new car smell will wear off by the time people are listening to this, but it is our first recording of the new year.
3 days in, and boy, are we crushing it.
Do you guys do anything fun yet?
I had the most convoluted Canadian standoff that I've ever had in my life today. We were both armed. That is to say, we were both holding two separate doors.
That's very good.
Are you not familiar with the concept of a Canadian standoff?
No, but I feel like I'm getting it in context. Like you were trying to be polite, and the other person was also trying to be polite, but you couldn't figure out who was to be polite.
That is absolutely the nature of what a Canadian standoff is. It can take many forms. For example, there's the automotive Canadian standoff, where you both halt at a stop sign, and then you make the motion, and then they make the motion, and then you make like another motion, and then maybe add the first motion in, and it, ad nauseum.
I really thought it was going to be like when one of you's like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and the other one's like, "No, I'm sorry. No, really, I'm sorry." No, it just goes on like that. But
it's after you. Oh no, please. But you're holding, you're holding something. Yes, but it's very light. It's fine. Please, you look like you're in a hurry. And
I can imagine
I'm gonna stop.
The Tex Avery version of this, where you keep opening additional cartoon doors that keep popping up until you're holding like 100 open somehow against all logic and physics.
Yeah. So, but this was because it happens quite frequently at doors, right? Because somebody will open a door with the purpose of like going through the door, but then somebody on the other side appears at the door, and then they go, "Oh, like, hey, please come in." And the other person goes, no, it's fine. Just, after you, and so on and so forth. But yeah, we were both armed, which is to say we were both holding a separate door that was about 5 feet away from each other. It was at this
Johnny.
Yeah.
Do you win if the other person goes through the door, or do you win if you go through the door?
This is a question that has plagued Canadian philosophers.
Okay. Because I gotta tell you, just like I have shit to do, and I would just absolutely just start walking through the door, and I'd say thank you, because that is also polite, and I can get my politeness points out that way.
So I think in Canada, you win if the other person goes first.
Oh, so you're stare. It's like you're staring at each other, and like the camera zooms in real close, and one of you squints, and the other you spits.
Yeah.
My social anxiety version of this is when the other person tries to engage me in conversation, I pretend like I actually changed my mind and have to go somewhere else, and then I leave so I don't have to interact with them.
That's fascinating.
All right,
I'll remember that. I'll remember that in case we ever see each other in the tangible world ever. That was an interesting story, Johnny. Thank you for that. I didn't know what that was, but like as soon as you said it, I feel like I got it.
I didn't even get to finish though.
Oh, I'm sorry. Who won?
He did.
Does that mean you went through the door?
That means I went through the door, because it did happen in Canada. Yeah, I think internationally, you win if the other you win if you go first, or at least
I definitely feel
speaking,
like
they would consider that winning. But in Canada, I think it's the other way around, that you win if they go first. Okay. And yeah, because I was I opened the door at the same time he did, and then we both stood there for a second, and I actually said, "Uh-oh."
Wait, out loud?
Yes, out loud. and he's like, "Oh, come on in." I was like, "No, please, after you." And then he pulled a fucking secret one-shot Derringer pistol out or something like that, and he goes, "No, it's okay. I work here." And I was
it's over.
Oh shit! He's hosting me. I have to go first.
Yeah. Yeah, that's otherwise it's just weird.
Yeah, that's so.
I mean that's true in America too. I feel like you're like, okay, well this is your job, and I don't even want to get you in trouble or anything. Mm-hmm. So yeah. So
that was a fun etiquette hour. Thank you, Johnny.
I suffered a little bit from that. I'm still my courtesy is still ringing.
Okay, maybe you can send him flowers.
Ooh, that's a good idea, or an edible arrangement.
And how you really win is you send him something, but he has no way to know how to get in contact with you to send something back. Then you win. Then you win politeness.
No, Leon, because that's like killing someone with a sniper rifle versus giving them a chance to defend themselves.
There's no sport in it if you can't give them a chance to fight back.
Yeah, it's like you've got to give them the chance to stand up and send back a thank you bouquet like a man.
See, I have a very different idea about how any kind of fights work. This isn't like Marcus of Queensberry rules, okay? This is a street fight. You gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, but Leon, I learned to street fight for a hobby, so I sort of feel like that's dishonest. I gotta give this guy a chance.
Okay. I guess, well, you know, the weird thing is if you send him flowers and also you put your number in there or your address in there, he might get the wrong idea.
All right, so this has been fun. We're 15 minutes in. Did you guys watch any movies already, nerdy shit?
I mean, probably. It's nothing that's entertaining, though. I watched a documentary about shootings. That's not good. I mean, it was good, but it's not, you know,
Pleasant radio.
No, is not. We could talk about how bad the president's dick must be.
Excuse me.
Because it must be very bad. You know. Someone made a noise.
Yeah, that was me. Just great.
Yeah.
I resent the idea that I even have to conceive of this. Just
I know.
that is taking up fucking real estate in my brain. This motherfucker owes me rent.
Yeah, this for anyone who like just for some reason doesn't have Twitter or just doesn't want to hear about this stuff, but is going to now. The president, our president, said in response to Kim Jong-un. Saying that he has like a button on his
not
desk.
Not even Kim Jong Un saying that, but a news report that was
media.
Apparently like, oh, Kim Jong Un says, you know, he's got a great big ass button on his desk that will launch the nukes.
Okay, I want to say a few things about this. First of all, no, he doesn't. And I'm not saying that because like their nuclear weapons are like, you know, we have questions about it. I mean, people don't have that. Okay, so let's just get real. This isn't like that commercial where someone presses a big red button and then everything no. So that's not true. And then, but Donald Trump, feeling threatened about this, said, "I have a bigger button. It's bigger and it works." And it's like, what is wrong with you? Why are you doing this? Are we going to get into a nuclear war because you have peen issues? Like,
I think technically, Leon, the term for this would be sword fight.
Yeah, it sure is. Here's the thing. We're probably not going to get into a nuclear war over this, and I'm rational enough to realize that. But just the fact that we might, like there's an outside chance, is galling. And also, again, even if we're not, it's embarrassing as Americans that this is our guy.
It's pretty funny.
I mean, strangely enough, being a petty idiot to another rich kid is the only part of the job he is qualified to do.
Yeah, but still.
So traditionally, the ruling class was all sorts of inbred because we just left them to their own devices and they were basically forced to genetically ensnare themselves in order to maintain their positions in wealth. And now what we have here is some kind of social inbreeding program for our ruling class. All these people who are so disconnected from normal human behavior, and they're just like socially inbred. They don't know how to act. They don't know how to be in the world and how to relate and communicate because no one ever told them no, and no one ever made them work for anything. There's just like this pandemic of unqualified diaper babies who have all the buttons in the world, and they're all just so proud of their buttons that they didn't work for, they didn't earn, they didn't invent anything, and they're all just showing them off to each other, and all of them need to be institutionalized. And I don't mean that it like, oh, he's crazy, oh, he has Alzheimer's. No, I'm saying like a responsible, functioning democracy would not allow these people to be out in the world, endangering all of us. And it's a fundamental flaw of our culture that we have not addressed this. That's a real opinion I just have now. So I hope we can all be comfortable with that.
I'm pretty comfortable with it. The year just started. So
I was amazed at how quickly YouTube managed to embarrass itself.
Oh my god, can this week end already?
Yeah, I know. Again, if you don't follow social media, or maybe you just didn't want to know, but I'm going to tell you now.
We should just rename this show I hope you were glad not knowing this, but we're gonna tell you now.
Yeah.
Let me ruin your day.
Yeah. Some great big piece of shit who I didn't know existed until a couple days ago, but apparently has like millions and millions of tween subscribers on YouTube. Went into a forest where people commonly kill themselves, sadly, and recorded one.
And not just commonly, because commonly makes it sound that it's just this weird quirk that happens. Like this forest is famous for it. Like it is nationally and colloquially referred to as the suicide forest.
Yeah, he went there looking for a body, and then he found one. Joked about it a bit. I didn't click on the YouTube thing, but I did watch a clip of it on Twitter because someone posted it in the hashtag, and I was like, well, I guess if I'm going to learn about it, I have to watch part of this. I watched 10 seconds of it, of him giggling about, that, and that was horrible for my day. Yeah, he's shit, and then he tried to apologize, and his apology was mostly self-promotion, and it was just awful.
I didn't do it for the views, even though every single thing I ever publish is only ever for the views, because that's how my job works.
Okay, not to defend this, but literally how else would a person behave if they were in that situation? You give a teenager millions of dollars and millions and millions of viewers, they're going to be warped. This is absolutely related to the last thing I said. We cannot let people have that much wealth and power. They should. If you earn over $1 million, you should go to jail automatically.
How about if you keep over $1 million?
Yes.
Austin?
Okay. Yes, that is more sensible. Sorry, I got worked up.
No, it's fine.
I had to bargain myself down from firing squads. So
no, it's okay. Point of order. He did get popular, I believe, in his teens. He is 22 now, so you can go to war. And drink. So
yeah, I'm not arguing. He's just a kid. He doesn't know better. He should, but I'm saying he became warped because no teenager should have that much power and responsibility. It does something to the wiring of your brain. This is an actual sociological phenomenon. I don't know if we have a term for it. Somebody probably knows better than I do. But
it'll show up in the DSM-4 in 10 years. Don't you worry about it.
It's an empathy. It's an empathy deficiency. It's an actual sociopathy that is fostered in people who do not face consequences and repercussions. It untethers you from humanity.
I apologize for blurting out no there. I wasn't disagreeing. It was just that my smoke alarm made a very suspicious noise that sounded as if hey, guess what?
Yeah,
I'm gonna ruin your Wednesday night!
Yeah, I'm going to keep it in because it was kind of funny.
Yeah.
One adjective I like to use for guys like this is turdsome, and that is just something I think we should use more.
It's so obviously bad. I didn't even think we were going to bring it up because what are you going to say about it? Oh, a bad guy did a bad thing. Yeah, obviously he's one of 1,000 of the same PewDiePie motherfuckers who just white guys who yell at cameras. It's all of our culture now.
That was funny. Because PewDiePie was like, dude, you just don't do that. And it was what?
Fuck him. Yeah. Something, I had a thought and I lost it. Oh no, hopefully it'll come back. Fuck it. I had something good and then I lost it because I started thinking about PewDiePie and my brain died a little.
That is a natural reaction. I don't even want to be that guy, right? Because that feels very old fogey. The kids these days, the things they like are stupid. No, I grew up on Power Rangers. All kids' culture is stupid as fuck. But now there's no barrier between the people who are stupid as fuck getting the power that makes other people stupid as fuck. It's the fucking feedback loop is bonkers in a way that it's never been before. It's always been bonkers, but it's just I don't know.
Different.
I don't know. I don't know if it's right to call it a feedback loop so much as it is what's the word I'm looking for? Reinforcement.
Okay.
Because it occurs to me that if you have horrible asshole opinions and you you didn't have an outlet to confirm that, like, hey, there are other people out there who also have horrible asshole opinions, and they're incredibly popular, so I guess there must be nothing wrong with me.
Yeah, I just remembered what I was going to say. Austin, you said, like, what are we even going to say about this? This is obviously bad. There are so many people defending it.
There always is, but there's actual Nazis on the internet. Like, no argument is out of bounds these days.
I understand that, but I don't mean, like, a handful of, like, Zig Heiling motherfuckers. I mean, like, people, not smart people, but people who need. I'm trying to say this, not Nazis, but people who have shitty opinions, including but not limited to a former friend of mine who I muted a long time ago. I don't know what this person was saying, but I did see, because sometimes Twitter works this way, someone I still respect trying to talk this person down from based on only seeing half part of the conversation. My former friend was defending the suicide forest thing, and my friend I still respect was saying, dude, you're too smart for this. What are you even talking about? And then going on and on about how this is bullshit.
This is a cool cyberpunk dystopic hellhole we're all stuck in, where we have to read the ghost of half a conversation from fucking people defending this shit. That's exactly what William Gibson predicted.
I just couldn't listen to him anymore. So, and I just decided to mute him. Sometimes you just have to do that for your own mental health. And that's that.
I read a really interesting thread. I try to remember who wrote it, and I feel bad, but they were basically talking about how the internet, for it to survive at all, basically, we as a culture, if we're not going to implode, are going to have to start treating it more like a metropolitan space. Because when you're in a city, say like New York, for example, you don't just spew your opinions on literally every person you see. Like, everyone's not engaged in constant discourse. People go about their day with their heads down. It's actually considered like a breach of etiquette to just like start talking to someone in a city, right? It's weird. And the internet as it is now, if you try to imagine it as a physical space, it's unsustainable. Everyone's just constantly screaming at each other. It can't survive that way. And so the vision of a future with a functioning internet is, it's more like New York, where you go where you need to go, you get the information or products you need, and then you go home and you don't make eye contact unless you see someone you know, and then you exchange pleasantries. But we can't just do this thing we're doing where everybody has to have a bullhorn and constantly be shouting at the top of their lungs, I'm an idiot, I don't care about other people. Ah! It's just not gonna work. It can't.
Okay.
Was that too final? Was there just nothing to argue about that?
That's solid.
I don't know.
The
only arguments I have are devil's advocate arguments, and none of them are good.
Yeah, I held it in my heart some belief that the democratization of information and content would have some good effects, because then, like, me and Leon make livings by being on the internet, and that wouldn't be possible in a pre-internet society. And so there are obviously upsides, but it's the structures of power that pre-existed the internet are just being recreated. Like, Google's just buying everything, Amazon's just buying everything, Disney's buying everything. It's going to just be the same world we've always known, except we now literally shit in each other's mouths at the slightest provocation, and it's considered somehow like rude to block someone from doing that. So
I don't get that. I don't get the rude to block.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to live in a world where no one needs the concept of freedom of speech explained to them ever again. That would be very nice, because it's not hard. It's so not hard. It's very simple. Yeah. But literally everyone on the internet is unable to grasp it, and I don't know what to say. I'm out of fucking indignation about it.
Okay. I have other stuff we could talk about instead.
I'm sorry for the half hour of that.
No, you're fine. This has been good. I've enjoyed this half hour, and I hope that our audience has at least found it educational, if not funny. But I do have other stuff. I just is there anything fun we can talk about?
I'm surprised you haven't brought up Mega Man 11, Leon. I feel like that's all you should be excited about.
I don't play video games anymore, so I don't know if I'm going to
But
play.
Mega Man's not a
Mega
video
Man doesn't
game.
get you excited anymore?
It's more of a lifestyle.
I am pleased that look, there's a part of me that is pleased that it is being made in the same way that, like, you know, I'm glad that they're still making Sesame Street, but I just don't watch it anymore.
Damn.
I might buy a new video game one of these days, and if I do, it probably will be that one.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't really speak to it in that, you know, that kind of way.
So you hear that, internet video game fandom? You've absolutely destroyed Leon. He is not gonna come back ever.
Yeah, a few weeks ago, like I said, you know, I'm burned out on what people consider geek culture to the point that I don't want to call myself that. So just call me a nerd, because my interest, I believe that term sides more with interests relating to intellectual pursuits. I just want to read books, and I hate video games. And I said that in kind of like a, you know, like silly but matter of fact kind of way on Twitter. And dumb me, I decided to click onto my mentions and see if anyone responded. And some people say, "What do you got against video games?" I'm like, shut up.
That's a self-answering question.
It really is. That's what I have against video games. You get defensive when I say I don't think they're good. They're not for me now. I was like, but so what did you hear about Catherine getting a? I don't care. So yeah, I have something dumb to talk about.
Yeah,
it won't take very long, so maybe I'll just do this as a small topic before, you know, one of you takes the reins to get into our next big topic. I earlier this year, I tried to make a commitment to not dunking on commenters who stumble into my comment section.
Now, when you say earlier this year, do you mean 2 days ago or 1 day ago?
I'm sorry. You're right. I'm still in last year. I meant last year. I apologize.
Okay.
Sometime last year.
Sorry,
I
thought you had.
No, you're right.
I thought you deliberately meant to say that as if it was going to be misleading, and then be like, "And I lasted the whole 20 minutes."
No, I'm sorry. I just did the brain fart version of talking related to, like, when people write the wrong dates on checks. So because of the wrong year. Okay. So anyway, last year I tried to make a commitment to not dunking on random commenters who come into my comment section and say something incredibly ridiculous and or hateful or spiteful or nonsense. And I just couldn't for very long because I hated. Look, I love my audience, but the people I'm talking about are people who are not really in my audience. They just kind of show up and say, like, bad things. Not bad things like I didn't like this video, but bad things like racial slurs. And I didn't feel like suffering in silence anymore, so I just stopped preventing myself from doing that. So that's the preface to this. So I usually just do this on Twitter, but I wanted to talk about this here because I was kind of fascinated by this comment. It was under the video for my episode on What Dreams May Come, the Robin Williams film in which he dies and goes to heaven and talks about God and there are angels and goes to hell and all kinds of, you know, religious, spiritual stuff. And someone in my comment section said, as an atheist, I didn't notice any of that God stuff in this movie. It's a movie about a dude going to heaven and talking about God and angels and hell and free will and the human soul. It could not be more. This isn't like, you know, watching The Matrix and saying, "Oh, I didn't notice that Neo was basically Jesus. I mean, it was so obvious, but I guess I was engrossed in the film that time." Cool, whatever, fine. That's cool, whatever. But this isn't like the subtext. This is the movie. What are you talking about? It's like watching Schindler's List. And like, I didn't even notice it took place during the Holocaust. What is the matter with you? It's the fucking setting. So I was blown away by that. I did not respond. I don't even remember if I approved or deleted that comment. I was just like, what was that? I just wanted to share that with you because it blew my mind, but also it was also kind of funny. That's it.
I mean, yeah, I've been thinking about like audience literacy a lot recently because there was this kind of post going around about how there was a theater, I don't know if it was multiple, there's at least one theater that put up a sign warning audiences about a part during The Last Jedi where the sound drops out for like 8 seconds. And saying, like, warning, there's a part where the sound cuts out. It's intentional and not an audio issue at the theater. And people were dunking on it, being like, oh, look, these slack-jawed yokels don't know how movies work or whatever. And obviously, like, at first it was laugh at these people. And then it was like, actually, the criticisms are elitist. And then it was like, actually, our education system has failed to teach people media literacy. Actually, like, it's, of course, everyone has a hot take about the hot take forever and ever. Amen. But I've been thinking about this because I do a narrative show where I tell stories and stuff, and you would be surprised about how you say something very explicitly, like, here's what this is about, and people don't hear that. They'll either be like, no, that's not what it's about, or, oh, I thought it was this other thing. But on the same hand, you'll be very oblique and like imply one thing which references another thing which is like secretly a metaphor for another thing, and people will immediately get it. And there's just no fucking rules. It's all Calvin ball, and I have no idea how anybody else experiences media ever. It's a mystery. I watch movies with people all the time and they can't follow the basic plot, and what movie are they watching? I don't know. Life's a mystery. We're all everything's in chaos. I mean, you're a film critic. Maybe you have some insight into this.
I don't know if I'm a film critic. I'm whatever it is I am. Mm-hmm. But yeah. Look, yeah. I get. Here's the thing. I get comments like that all the time, so I kind of know what you mean. But I'm not sure where the disconnect is. Whether it's the same person saying, "I don't follow the plot, but by the way, this is about the Illuminati," or if it's, because I here's the thing: when people say like maddening things like that about film, they're strangers, so I don't really have time to pull them aside. I'm like, can we have a serious conversation about media literacy and what you're actually seeing in this film? Why do you think this? Because I just can't. There's too much.
Yeah, I mean, it's not your job to educate people, but I'm saying educated people.
It kind of is. I just can't educate them individually.
Yeah.
I have to educate in a very broad way, and it's
your job to put information out there. It's not your job to hunt every person down and make sure they know what movies are about.
That's fair.
But I saw a review of The Last Jedi where a professional film critic who makes like a salary at a company about media, like an important person, I'm not going to name names, but they said they didn't notice at the end when the person used the Force to like grab the broom or whatever. And I was like, you get paid to watch movies for a living. That wasn't the beat the film ended on. It was that important that it's like the shot they leave you with, and you didn't notice. Like, if you don't notice, how is like Bob Johnson supposed to notice anything? Like,
I can understand watching a movie and your mind wanders for a second and you miss something important. That's reasonable to me. What I feel like I guess I'm a little forgiving of that, but what sort of is beyond the pale for me is when really more like way more fundamental things. Like everyone can like blink and miss something, and I'll try to be forgiving of that. But to sort of like miss core concepts that reoccur over the course of a film, I guess that's the sort of thing that bothers me, or completely misunderstand what a character is supposed to be. For example, I read a review of The Shape of Water.
I don't know where this is going.
Yeah, and someone first of all, they got the name of the director wrong, which is fine. Whatever. You made a mistake, and for some reason the editor didn't catch it. It's whatever. I'm sure I've said the wrong name of someone like a million times. So okay, I blame that more on the editor. But there's also stuff that was in the review that that mischaracterized the protagonist, and she basically, if you haven't seen the film, the main character is she's mute. She can hear. She's just mute. She isn't otherwise, that's just who she is. But in the review, I forget exactly how it was put, but I believe the implication was that the reviewer thought that she was mentally challenged. I forget the term he used, but that it was one of those terms. And he's like, wait, but that's not who she is. That's not what her disability is. She's just mute. That's all that's going on. And it was very strange to read that.
I thought you were talking about the review where someone's like, I don't buy this movie. How could a woman like a monster when there are men around? It's like...
Oh, I didn't see that one, but that one that's like, well, I mean, come on. He eats a cat, but besides that, he's basically nice. He's just gross.
It's just such a misunderstanding of sexuality. I don't think you should be able to write about media if you don't understand even the bare scrap of human psychology. I mean, maybe if you're writing film reviews from alien perspective, so we could like turn over like documents of our culture to like aliens when they come here and be like, here's how you might experience what we have to offer. But it doesn't make any sense to write that as a human for humans.
But and even beyond that, in the text of the film, the main character very explicitly, even though she cannot speak, through her signing and the other character saying back what she's saying, it is very explicit why she cares about the sea creature and why he is important to her. And it's in the narrative. Like you don't have to like wonder, like, I wonder what she's thinking. It's like it's not like that. I mean, you talk about psychology, but no, she just says it.
But I mean, even if it wasn't, right? I
know,
men can be into anything, and we're just totally okay with it. But like, listen, women want to fuck all kinds of shit. You have no idea. Like, if you don't know, I would say ask, but maybe they just don't trust you because you're still asking these questions. Maybe you're off-putting, but like they'd be wilding out over there, like 24/7. You have no idea.
Yeah. That was the joke. That was the joke. Last year, I'm trying to remember. It's last year. That was the joke last year when the new Beauty and the Beast movie came out. The joke was like, now it's like, everyone just wants to fuck the beast. So we all know that everyone's just kind of into these things. So that it's not like the premise is now flawed. Because we don't have to wait for her to like long for a different looking guy.
I think it was there was a podcaster named Merritt who I've talked about before here, but she put out a tweet something like, I can't wait until women start designing sex toys because they're gonna be so Lovecraftian, they're gonna be so Cronenbergian basically, that the men are gonna be like fucking terrified, because the history of those kind of industries have been basically men in suits being like, I think this is what women are into, but like this brave new teledildonic future we're in is going to get so fucking tentacly so fast, and I don't know if anyone's quite prepared for it. The Shape of Water is like tame, basically, is where I'm getting.
Yeah. I mean, I shouldn't really get into spoilers. It's never mind. I don't want to spoil it. But everyone should go see The Shape of Water. It's good. I liked it. Okay.
That is okay.
Are there any other topics that we have?
I have like 1,000 million, but Johnny, I haven't heard you in a while. You okay? Did the fire alarm?
Yeah. I'm fine. I haven't seen Shape of Water yet, so
sorry.
Didn't really have much to
I like to
add.
imagine you were either burning to death or you were still trying to tell off the fire, because it.
No, it seemed to have listened to me the first time, so
good.
Yeah, because I don't want to have to fucking tell a fire twice, you know.
So did you play or watch anything interesting? You punch any dudes? Any cool stuff? What's up with you?
What did I do? Latest season of Black Mirror came out. Watched that.
Yeah.
It's par for the course.
Yeah, I fell off after the really gay episode. That was good, and I was like, well, they're never gonna hit that again. So.
Yeah, so there's not much more to say about it. I enjoyed it. If you too enjoy Black Mirror, you may also enjoy Black Mirror.
Which was the really gay episode? I stopped watching a while ago.
San Junipero.
Oh, I did actually try to watch that one.
Did you say try? I feel like there's an implicit second part of that statement.
No, I did watch it.
Okay.
I did watch it. I've been intrigued by like 1.5 episodes of Black Mirror, and I've never really enjoyed the rest. I just don't like it.
So,
I just don't like the show.
Yeah, so you won't like the latest installments of the show?
I'm not going to try it anymore.
Nah,
Yeah,
don't bother.
I kept trying. Nah. I feel bad about not liking San Junipero because a friend of mine was like, "This is right up your alley. You'll love it. It's like a queer romance story, and it's sad. It's things that you like." And I'm like, "Well, you do know what my tastes are like, so I will watch this show one more time." And I watched it, and I'm like, "Yeah, I should like this, but I just super don't."
It's fine.
So,
It's good. I think there's a weird thing where the bar is so low for queer representation that we're willing to like dig through the gutter to get any scrap of it. It's kind of sad, but I feel like that should be the bare minimum level of quality we expect. But it's one of like the only mainstream representations of something like that, so it's like one of the best ever.
Yeah, and like, I mean, spoilers, but I think the ending not being what some queer romance stories are, that the subversion of that, I think, pleased a lot of people, and for a very good reason. But still, no. That's it. That's all I got on that. Sorry, I deviated. Go ahead, Johnny, about the season.
I've been trying to get into Bob's Burgers.
Oh, okay. I can talk about that. I like that show. That show is funny and cute.
What you say getting into is the deep lore? Is that what's giving you the hang up?
No, I never watched it. I never watched it on TV. I never did. And I like a lot of the time that I'm spending right now in my spare time is basically waiting for life to pass.
Okay.
Because the act of living is a little bit of a mixed bag for me right now.
Yeah.
I did not have a very good Christmas. I did not have a very good New Year's. I don't enjoy New Year's. I haven't been sleeping well. The end of the year is always like a bit of a bittersweet time for me.
Yeah.
Christmas is complicated because it was really big for my dad. And then, like, I discovered this year that feelings about my dad's death are very tightly wrapped up in feelings of relationships ending and rejection, considering that only a few months after he died, in fact, around Christmas time, the girlfriend I had at the time decided to break up with me. So that's like a tightly knit knot of emotions right now that is currently just like, of its own accord, just like whipping my back. So I've had a bad end of year. You may have noticed if you follow me on Twitter by me saying things like, haha, no, seriously, you guys, I'm gonna die this year if it doesn't get any better. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I've been trying to pass the time. I've been trying to sort of distract myself just by throwing light and sounds at me and going, that's kind of funny. And picking long-term projects, I've discovered, is pretty good for that. Because it's a shame if you get something that you're kind of interested in, and then you get like 4 episodes in, and then they're like, oh, done. You're like, oh, it's back. That gnawing feeling. So, yeah, Bob's Burgers made its way to Canadian Netflix this past week. And I was like, I will start that, because Leon speaks fondly of it, or has spoken fondly of it in the past.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I'm trying to get into that. And I'm having trouble doing it.
Oh.
I don't know why. Because on paper, when I watch it, I'm like, this should be funny.
It is.
Maybe it's me. I don't know.
It's possible you might not be in the right frame of mind for it. It's also possible it just might not be for you. Which is like super normal. I've heard a lot of people say that they're not into Bob's Burgers, and I'm like, more for me. That's okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not gonna I can't level any criticisms at it. I can't go like, oh well, the cast is horrible.
Oh, the cast is so good.
You know, the character designs and the supporting characters and everything like that are great.
Yeah.
I like the setting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I should really like this show, but I'm empty right now. I'll be all right though. I think I'm trying to turn it around.
All right.
You know, trying to be a little bit more alive.
Okay.
Well, we'll see how that turns out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard for me right now.
I'm sorry.
I'm having trouble getting excited about stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Ooh, I had an interaction with a lady on Bumble. That was kind of nice.
Oh, okay.
We enthused about music.
Good.
Which is something that I don't get to do with a lot of people.
All right.
Because my tastes in music are a little too varied for most people, I guess. I don't know. But she's nice. So
cool.
We've been chatting a little bit. I don't know. Maybe that's good.
Yeah.
That's all I got, guys. I'm sorry.
That's good. You don't have to, you don't have to end it with a big splash or a rim shot. That was
no.
fine.
I just I came out of the gate strong today. I was like, I'm gonna tell a funny story. I'm gonna try and participate, and I lost steam during the Shape of Water thing, and now I'm just like, I'm back. I'm back.
All right,
but not in the good place.
Okay. Although I do hear the good place is good.
Yes, it is. It is a good place.
All right. We only have a couple minutes till when we normally do questions. Do we want to jump into that now? Or, Austin, do you have anything super short you could talk about?
Super short. I do. Here's the thing. I have infinity things to talk about every week. I'm constantly adding to this, and now it's getting out of hand. It's like my Steam wish list. So there's some things on here that I don't even know what it means anymore. I wrote shorthand. I'm like, what is that? What does that even mean? Okay. So let's see. I think probably the shortest thing to talk about was I saw Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Have you guys seen that film?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do we have strong feelings? I feel like that was a very lackadaisical Leon approval.
I felt it was a very lackadaisical movie.
Damn, got him.
Yeah. No, it's fine. The movie is fine. I've heard people explain why they love the movie and for personal reasons, and I'm like, yeah, I can totally see that. For me, nah. I wasn't feeling it. I did not. The things that the movie assumed I would sympathize with and find important,
like dads.
Yeah, not.
It's okay. So for anyone who doesn't know, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is a movie about dads. It's the main character doesn't know who his dad is, and then he finds out, and that's complicated. And that's contrasted with his found non-biological family and how they interact with each other, which I think is a good premise for a movie. It's complicated by the fact that the main character goes beyond unlikable to actively nice guy at one point, which made him hard to root for. And there's something to be said about that whole thing. It assumes that the hero is the diaper baby man, which everyone is nowadays. That probably dovetails with the conversation about Ready Player One that I'm not ready emotionally to have right now. But the actual dad stuff worked for me. As someone who has literally never met my biological father, it didn't blow me away. I didn't get choked up, but I was like, oh, I see what they're doing here. These are relatable feelings. Yes, I recognize these emotions. Correct. You have
That is
stimulated my brain.
That is how I felt about it, but mostly I just I couldn't make the emotions that I recognized in my brain meat find their way to my heart meat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's a hard thing to make like someone cry with your art. So I don't like blame them for not getting to the heart meat. I think they did an admirable job of trying to get there, which is fine. Although it is weird that this is the second Disney movie I've watched in the last couple of weeks, which is very much about like biological families are kind of bullshit. It's an arbitrary thing we decided was important. Fuck it. Just hang out with cool dudes in space. So like that is a very Disney theme right now.
Okay. I felt like Blue Guy, I mean, spoilers, I guess, for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. When Blue Guy died and everyone cried, I was like, he was mostly shit. I mean, he had, you know, we learned within the film why he is more and why he is complex. But like when the whole universe showed up for his funeral and there was space fireworks, I was like, this feels mildly unearned. But you know, it was fun at parts.
Yeah.
Except when it wasn't.
And I think it's important that we have art about that kind of stuff, like imperfect figures. And like, I just spent Christmas with my adopted dad, who used to beat the shit out of all of us, and no one brought it up and thought like it was just, we just acted like everything was normal. It's just like, that's, family's a fucking weird illogical thing sometimes. What are you gonna do? I don't know. So like that actually
grow a new one.
Yeah, I mean that is the thesis of the movie. But I like that stuff rang true to me, which is like, yeah, like he hits Quill as a kid and he basically traumatized him. He was bad. And then they move on because that's how people are. I don't know. Like it worked for me. I didn't cry, and I get that if it didn't work for you, that's fine. But I think I'm glad that it exists, which is how I went in expecting. I was like, okay, the first one's good. They're just going to do it again, but more, which is how most Marvel movies are. But I think it had some ambition, which I appreciated, and a pretty good Russell performance. He didn't have a ton to work with, but you know.
That's fair, although I have to say, I'm glad it exists is not a ringing endorsement. I mean, fair. I'm glad. You know, I saw Kong Skull Island last year, and we talked about how much I didn't like it. I'm still glad it exists because a lot of people, you know, made money off of it, and like tech crews and stuff, and a lot of people liked it. I don't want to wish something out of existence because who knows what the butterfly effects will be. So I'm glad it exists. In a neutral kind of way.
Are you saying you wouldn't wish Bright away if you could?
I don't know what would happen. I don't feel like I should have that kind of power.
Yeah.
You know.
Did you guys read that even though Netflix was already like, yeah, we're doing another one, that Landis is out?
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense because I'm sure he wants to move on to other things and not get clowned on for another 6 months next time that's released.
That's fine, but I'm sorry. They've already peed in the pool. Like, it's fucking over. Like, I'm not going back in. You know what? I say that. I actually am because it's my job. So I literally am going to watch it.
Yes, but, Leon, you are going back in.
But I'm not sure that you're going to get, like, a really conscientious writer with, like, a completely different worldview to...
No, it's David Ayers who's writing it.
The director is just also taking on writing duties? Yeah. Oh, well, fuck. It might even be worse.
Yeah, obviously.
At least it'll.
I did not just deliver good news then.
It was. Then it'll be just as bad, but with less quips.
Yeah, I think significantly worse because Landis at least has some ear for levity.
Yeah, I mean he tries. He's just. I just don't want to sit next to him on a bus. So we should probably talk about questions now. I mean, we should probably answer questions. We don't need to talk about
No, we're not going to answer them. We're just going to talk about them.
Yeah. Aren't questions weird? Sometimes they're what? And sometimes they're whom.
They're incredibly interrogative. That's the thing that gets me about them.
They sure are.
I find it's interesting how they interrelate with answers.
Right quick before we move on to the questions, you brought up Kong Skull Island. I had one more thought about it.
Did.
It's not about the
Why?
It's not about the content of the film necessarily.
Okay.
Hold on.
Well, good, I guess.
While watching it, I had this thought, and I had forgotten it until recently. I don't remember. I was watching something else, and it reminded me of the same thought, which is if heterosexuality wasn't an assumed default, you would watch every movie like gobsmacked by the audacity of the heterosexual propaganda. Like every movie, it feels like shoehorned in a way where it doesn't. I don't know. Social programming's a hell of a thing where we just are totally fine with it, right? It doesn't strike anyone as weird because it's everywhere. But if it wasn't, like, try to take it outside of your perspective, because in Kong Skull Island, these two attractive people have like one interaction and then they're just like together and they have like deep emotional connection or something. It feels like a bad propaganda movie trying to convince people to be straight. And I see stuff like that all the time now. Like, my brain is infected because I don't remember what it was. I was watching something else and I was like, this is ludicrous. The idea that these two characters would hook up, they don't know each other at all. What is happening? The whole thing, the whole enterprise is suspect. What is straightness? Has anyone figured it out? I don't know. Now I'm just talking.
It's fine. Questions?
Let's see. This is a good one. Random web person, Kirstine Hasinger, of course, wants to know, Leon, have you ever finished reading Harry Potter? Parentheses, no. Wrestling?
No. I read the first book a little while ago, and I said that was fun. And then I started reading the second book, and I got sidetracked by other things I needed to read, that are work-related. I probably shouldn't have tried to read the entire Harry Potter novel series while making a movie and doing my regular job. It's weird having, basically they both feel like full-time jobs, and I'm doing them at the same time. It was probably not a good idea to do that with all the other things I need to read. I do like them so far, but I have no idea if I'll go back. Like we've mentioned, I've mentioned before that I've read and reread the first 3 Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy books like half a dozen times for reasons I don't want to get into again. And I read the 4th one once, and I've tried to, and I keep almost reading the 5th one. And this has been going on for 35 years. So, like, I don't want to make a commitment that I will actually read all the Harry Potter novels, because I'm still reading the novel series that I started reading in grade school. I just can't keep going. You
got a weird brain, Leon.
I sure do. For anyone who didn't remember, the issue was I read the first 2 and liked it, and then when it was time to read the third one, it was like a couple of years later, and I forgot what happened, so I read the first 2, and then I read the third one, and I was like, that's cool. And I said, I want to read the 4th one. Well, I forgot what happened, so I should probably read the first 3 again. And then I just got tired of it, and this kept happening for a long time. So good luck, Leon, reading all the Harry Potter novels. I have a problem.
I really want to cross over between Harry Potter and Harry Hole from The Snowman. I think they could really solve some crimes together, because Harry Potter is very good at picking up on all the clues.
He is.
Why is my fucking mouth so awful? Oh, I just remembered what the thing was. It was Last Jedi with Finn and Rose. Where I was like, I want to rewatch this movie and imagine this is a sci-fi universe where heterosexuality doesn't exist, and see how them kind of having tension feels, because it came out of such left field that it felt like a sci-fi concept. Imagine a world where people of opposite genders kiss. Can you imagine such depravity? This is who I am now. Sorry.
It's fine. I don't know how to turn this into a wrestling question, so I'm not going to.
That was just, I had to read that because that was a very clever end around our question submission process.
It is.
Let's see here. Anarcho Mugwump. This is a good question. Ask, what do you think socialists / communists / anarchists can do to better present their ideas to liberals? I don't know that this is an answerable question, but I'm interested in hearing, do we have any ideas?
do so in a way that is, how do I put this? It isn't judgmental. It's more like educational, where it's like, hey, wake up, liberals. You can't always do, sometimes you gotta, you can't. But that's actual quote from Karl Marx.
Can someone please clip that audio and send it to me? Hey, liberals, sometimes you gotta,
you do. So anyway, how I started learning more about politics that were even left of my previous leftist politics was educational resources and not people yelling about it. But here's the thing: everyone's sort of different. So I don't know. Some people kind of you have to lead with the stick, and some with the carrot. I'm a carrot person. You gotta say, hey, Leon, you might be interested in these ideas, and I'd be like, I might, I guess, and then that's sort of my like broad idea, and that is like when presenting such things, present them. I want to say calmly, but that's hard to do when people have ideas about anarchism that aren't what it is, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It doesn't mean without government. It means without leaders. It is more like a horizontal, stateless idea that still has a lot of structure. It's just different. It's not guys in mohawks painting an A on a brick wall. It's not that, and that's the problem because that's what people think it is. I'm actually gonna have to talk about this a lot when I do my episode on V for Vendetta later this month.
Jesus Christ, good luck.
Oh, that's gonna be a mudslide.
Look,
it's like I'm gonna do a book report on the Bible.
Someone said they wanted me to do a V for Vendetta. I'm like, thanks for your money. I'm in, which is what I always say. So I really like the graphic novel. I have mixed feelings about the film. And partly because of how it sort of misrepresents the ideas of the novel, graphic novel. On its own, the movie is not bad. It's just...
It's a ham-fisted attack of an obviously corrupt idiot Bush presidency or whatever, which is not what the graphic novel's about.
Yeah, like the movie's fine. It's just disappointing to watch, having read the graphic novel and see, and that's kind of what I want to. I'm not gonna get into a big thing like the book is different. Yeah. I'm just I'm gonna talk about the movie while also talking about the source material because I can go into deeper ideas by using that, and that's what. Anyway, I hope that convoluted sidetrack answer was helpful to you.
I mean, there's a lot of different ways to approach it, right? Like, I feel like the thing you tackled was really like the branding, because anarchist is just never a brand that's ever going to get any traction. It's just tainted. So is communist, frankly. Socialist less so, but still pretty bad. And that's a whole thing, right? Like, even conservatives are rebranding as like the alt-right. A libertarian was hot for a while. These ideas are all pretty fluid. There's a lot of different levels and like a lot of concepts that are implicated in all of them. But at the end of the day, if people are voting, it's like teams. People want a team to root for, and you have to have a strong brand. And I know that sounds garbage. I know it's like if you're a smart person, you don't like it, but yeah.
All right, Austin, I'm gonna pitch you new dank statism.
Yeah.
You know what's difficult about talking about libertarianism in America is that it means something totally different elsewhere. Like anarchists in other countries would say, oh, I consider myself kind of a libertarian. It's like, oh, because in America, that doesn't mean that at all.
It just means you're a Republican who doesn't hate gay people.
Yeah, I mean, and sometimes they are.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but sometimes they just are. By the way, when you said libertarianism was hot for a while, in my mind, because I guess this is how my head works, I thought of like a high fashion designer saying that like libertarianism was hot for a while, and then looking at the camera and saying, "But no, it's not."
It's very Zoolander. Yeah. So the question is, what can you do to better present your ideas? The problem is, like, mass education is something that in America, at least, has been systematically undermined over the last 100 years or so, because people being smart is against the interests of the people who want things to stay the way they are. So I don't know that you can really re-educate people on any meaningful scale without completely overhauling the education itself. Like that's like actually the first goal, because right now everyone is being purposefully, like, this sounds conspiratorial, like everyone's being made stupid, but it's not like because people in a dark room are twirling mustaches. It's just because they would rather that money go to their friends in the weapon manufacturers or the oil industry. Or so it's not like a big complicated plot. It's just about moving money around.
And that's actually that's I think that's part of the problem when discussing things like that, because when you said, and I know you're basically right when you said like it's in people in power's best interest to have a less intelligent populace, even though that that's true. When you say that out loud, it sounds like some Matrix ass shit.
Yeah, I mean,
but even though it's just like, yeah, I mean, we say certain things in school and not other things in school for reasons, and the reasons are rarely, well, we think these are just the best ideas. They're not. They're geared towards
certain people in Texas choose what you learn in America.
Yeah,
that's not a joke. That's just true.
Yeah. Cool.
So what can you do? I guess for my part, I try to make art that fosters empathy in people. That's currently only affecting several hundred people who also already agreed with me. So I don't know that I'm really making that much of a difference. Yeah,
Austin, the answer is, of course, baller stunts.
Stunts are good.
People would absolutely accept your ideas about having like a slightly more equitable. Equitable. Thank you. My brain's not working.
It's going around.
Equitable redistribution of funds. If you popped a sick wheelie right in the middle of explaining it.
Yeah. So yeah, redistribution of wealth is both the end goal and also the first step. Weirdly enough, it's a paradox, because you have to seize power to do that, but you can't do that without the money required to seize power. It's a pain in the ass. That's why even if it is reasonable to have disagreements with people like Bernie Sanders, but having prominent people pull the leftmost mainstream party further left is, on a pure mathematical basis, probably the best way forward, just because that's where money is currently, is in the Democratic Party. And so if we can move it a little bit to help us, that's going to be better than all the poor people throwing rocks at passing limos.
So did you just say, remember to look popular?
It all is a popularity contest. That's the bummer.
End every speech with, hey, and remember to like and subscribe.
That, you joke, but...
Yeah, I know you were joking about the wheelie thing there, but there is actually a really good the whitest kids
Am I joking?
There's
Am I joking? Can you guys tell anymore? Are you sure?
All right. There's a sketch, comedy sketch, where there's like two politicians and they're having a debate, and one of them says something, and then the second one says almost exactly the same thing, but then like strums his electric guitar at the end, and everyone cheers. And that is kind of the joke is obvious, but I feel like that's
no. I mean, you're kind of right. It's in a micro sense. We need to rebrand empathy as socially valuable. Like the boring answer.
You guys are trying too hard.
I guess.
I just put on a pair of sunglasses while I said that, and I'm already doing way better than you.
Here's a quick one. Anarchic Hugh just asked Leon, what do you have to do? What, you're gonna re-upload your Labyrinth or Requiem for a Dream videos? I don't know anything about this. Did they go bye-bye?
Nope. No, I'm not.
No? You don't like them anymore?
Nope.
Okay, bye.
They're off-brand now.
They are.
People.
That's basically it. They're off brand.
Okay, I don't remember them specifically. So if there's any like weird
No.
interpretive dance done in
No.
blackface, I don't recall it.
Wow, no. Basically some of the older like wackadoo, like let's have fun with fan theories episodes that I did in like the first, I guess, year of the show. I like super hate now. It's not that they were like shitty episodes or not fun. They're like, as I just said, off brand, but also I dislike that there is a culture that doesn't. Fan theories are fun. I dislike there is a culture that believes fan theories are as valid, I guess you could say, as an interpretation that is backed up by the text of the film. Like, you can have any interpretation of a film, and that's fine. But if you can't back it up with the text of the film saying so, it doesn't really, it's not useful in any way. Like I could say, oh, you know what The Wizard of Oz is about? Mars. It's about Mars. And it's like, oh, why do you think? And so you say, why do you think that? It's like, oh no, I just think it does.
Yes.
And it doesn't mean anything.
So this is a classic why we can't have nice things situation, is that nobody's mature enough to handle thought experiments.
Yes, basically, my experiment with thought experiments failed. The experiment about the experiments failed. And I gave up on that, and I was like, you know what? I don't even like this so much anymore. I want to talk about either legitimate interpretations of film, or philosophical concepts related to film, or political concepts related to film, or things that are like useful and valuable in some way. Wouldn't that be neat? And then I started doing that show instead, and didn't change the name of my show. And that and that is why that episode and the Willy Wonka episode and a few others just don't exist anymore. It's not because I'm ashamed of that. It's because they are the opposite of Kong Skull Island. I don't want them to exist. So that is that. And I hope that helped.
Yeah, it did. It helped me a lot.
Great.
Jeebus. Okay, here we go. Here's another Leon one.
Great.
Book of Love on Twitter asks, opinions on New Day? Parentheses wrestling. Only one exclamation point, so.
I like the New Day. They are all good. For anyone who doesn't know, there are 3 guys, and their entire gimmick is that they live by the principles of positivity. And you would think that would be like, we're supposed to hate you. You're shoving this down our throats, kind of thing. And they were at first. They were heels, but then they're just too good, and everyone loved them. And now they're baby faces, and everyone loves them. And they're just a lot of fun. They're very charismatic, and they're very good in the ring, and everyone loves them, and they should, because they're awesome. They throw pancakes at people, and then they eat the pancakes. And sometimes they throw cereal into people's mouths, and they eat the cereal. And that is what the New Day is like, and I like them.
Thank you.
Yep.
I feel enriched now. The Jurgenda asks, what new skills did you all pick up in 2017?
Ooh.
Did you guys learn how to do anything cool?
I learned things. I'm trying to figure out if they are things that have like applications outside of me knowing them and using them in my work.
Yeah.
I did, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I 2017 was the launch of a kind of like an advanced class at my kung fu school, where a group of about 7 of us were kind of all told, like, hey, I trust you guys, so I'm going to teach you the really mean stuff, because I trust that you're not going to use it on people. So every Friday night in 2017, I got to learn some new kung fu stuff, which was great, because after you do martial art for like 16 or 17 years or something like that, it goes away from being new stuff to just kind of like the same stuff over and over again. So yeah, I learned some new kung fu stuff that was good.
Is any of it dick related?
Oh, many.
Oh, okay.
Much of it. There's a lot of the very first kick you learn if you were to come to my kung fu school is how to kick someone in the dick properly.
Oh, I'm pretty good at
or
that.
if, like, by proximity, also the nuts.
I just loved how you said that. Yeah. All right. Well, that's cool. I'm really happy for your dick kicking class.
Did you learn? Did you learn any
too.
of that Tekken shit?
I'm not allowed to talk exactly about what I've learned.
I can't tell if that's a joke.
No, I am not allowed. I signed.
Holy shit!
I'm not allowed to. I'm not allowed to teach it.
You literally can't talk about Fight Club?
I literally can't talk about Fight Club.
He's trying to
I
keep
love
those
this.
dank Lei Wulong moves from us because he knows how to do the fire on the fist now, and that at that point he's barely even human anymore.
There is this episode of Batman the Animated Series where Batman was looking for the ancient way to put your finger on someone, and then they died immediately. I would like to think that is what Johnny's learning, and I'm a little scared.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm terrified.
Great. That's an awesome thing, Johnny. So I'm trying to think of the...
I just like learning. Like it was fun to learn new things. It was fun to exercise that part of my brain again.
Yeah.
So.
And also your ball kicking muscles.
And also my ball kicking muscles, which, granted, do get a workout anyways, so.
Most of the things that I learned last year were things that I basically put into my show. So I'm not sure if you want to know what I learned last year, you can just, it's like in all the episodes. I'm trying to think if there's anything like, physical, I guess I could say, that I learned, like a thing that I learned to do, like change a tire. But
How are your cooking skills coming along?
I have a crock pot now. Yeah. I haven't used it yet, so let's temper our enthusiasm.
Oh, come on.
I just got it.
Yeah.
But I'm going to. Apparently, it's like
Still got that new crock pot.
it does. It definitely does because it's literally still in the box. But apparently, like the good thing about this is that it is easy, and that is helpful to me because
They are very easy.
yeah, you put stuff in it and then you wait. So I'm looking forward to that.
And then over time, it gets good.
Yeah, that's basically it. I know how to make some basic dishes. I just don't, and I should, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So I have the crock pot now, so we'll see what I can do. Maybe I'll make chili. Cool. Austin, do you have one? I feel like we dominated that.
That's a good question.
I mean, I know you learned law, but have you learned anything that you have put into practice? Is what I'm trying to say.
I mean,
I guess.
Law.
I was in court for the first time, not as a person who was in trouble.
Oh,
That's exciting. I don't know if I...
Did you recognize anybody?
That's not how it works.
Stan, what did you do this time? Oh my God.
Yep, that's exactly how it went. I talked about how I was kind of looking into learning programming. I feel like I grasped on like the basics and stuff, but I didn't go too deep because my life is already hell chaos. It's folly to try to learn all of the law and also all of the programming at the same time. So that's like the thing I kind of dip my toes into that I feel like would have answered this question best. All the other answers are like, I got better at editing audio. I played video games and did good at them. I'm an elite pro gamer now. What are you going to do about that shit?
You must have learned the value of naps this year.
I slept in a library. Does that count?
Did you feel better afterwards?
I don't feel better anymore, Johnny. All I can do is slow down the rate at which I feel worse.
I didn't say good, right?
Yeah.
I just said better.
I feel like we all learned something about ourselves and how much we are able to endure. Does that count?
Yeah, that was something I learned a few years ago. And I'm better now because I got broken down and I got rebuilt stronger.
I learned that the power was inside me all along.
Jesus. All right, so I don't have a great answer for that. I'm mostly getting mildly better at things I already do. So,
cool.
New question. Cyretha asks, Johnny, Johnny, what type of rice do you cook with? I like this question because there's so many ding dang kinds of rice, and I never know what the difference is.
Basmati usually.
What's that mean?
Basmati rice is usually like not really flavored, but
I'm reading the Wikipedia. It's apparently a long, slender-grained, aromatic rice from the Indian subcontinent.
Yeah, like it's aromatic. I guess is the right word. Like it's not quite the goo rice that you might like be used to. You know, like it's and depending on how you cook it too, you can kind of get like different.
Did you say
things
goo?
Out of it.
Goo?
Yes, goo.
What is goo rice? Is that
like like mushy rice, like
couscous?
Like no, like glutinous rice. Do you know?
Okay, see, I was kind of joking before, but now I'm serious. Like, I think there are more kinds of rice than I thought. You're talking about like a way of making.
There are a lot of kinds of rice, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at a picture now. The basmati is longer. It's
a long grain rice. Mm-hmm. It's also often scented, I think, with like jasmine.
Basmati literally means fragrant in Sanskrit. Thank you, Wikipedia.
Yeah. So I like to cook with basmati rice. That's my favorite. And usually instead of doing it in water, I cook it in stock. 'Cause I'm just an asshole like that.
Cool.
Yeah, so I mean that's my favorite. Of course, like depending on whether or not I'm making other dishes or things like that. Like if I'm making if I want to make like a paella or something like that, or sorry, I'm really tired today. Like I'm not kidding when I said earlier that I'm not sleeping well right now. I'm getting like 3 or 4 hours of sleep a night these days.
You didn't know there was gonna be a rice quiz.
I did not know there was gonna be a rice quiz.
It's funny that I'm reading this. I was joking before, but I'm once again serious. It's kind of a theme this week. I'm reading this Wikipedia I'm reading this Wikipedia page, and there's a part about the patent battle between something called Rice Tech, which in 1997 tried to patent basmati rice, and eventually India threatened to take it to the WTO, and there was an international incident which involved Rice Tech eventually withdrawing their patent claims, including the ability to call their rice lines basmati. Apparently, it was a big deal. Like there was a rice rumble. I'm learning so much.
Yeah, rice is. I mean, for most of the population on Earth, Austin.
Yeah.
Rice is the basis for their diets.
Yeah.
And it has been cultivated in a variety of different ways. It's like I'm not suggesting, hey, if you have some time on your hands, friends, do a deep rice dive. It's truly fascinating. But it's like it's interesting to know that it's much more complicated than your grocery store aisle might actually suggest to you. Because like I wouldn't use basmati rice when I make Mexican food. I wouldn't do that. But I use it when I make kind of like Indian Asian style dishes. Unless I want to use glutinous rice, because glutinous rice kind of like soaks up stock really well. Like it flavors really well. But yeah, so I like to use basmati rice chiefly. I will use glutinous rice. And if I'm making Mexican food, I will use like a North American brown rice or something like that.
I do like the idea that some Sanskrit-speaking motherfucker found this rice and was like, we're just going to call this one smelly. That's what this food is called. Hey, everyone, yep. I found some smelly. Like, what's up? That's just like the guy who named oranges. Like, just throwing his hat over the fence, being like, I called this one. We're not going to find anything more of this. Okay, now I'm on the Wikipedia page for rice, and apparently it is the number one consumed staple food, but it's the third highest worldwide production of any agricultural commodity, behind maize and sugarcane. Maize, obviously, corn syrup is in everything, and sugarcane is in everything, because our dietary practices are bananas.
So you could possibly conclude from that rice is the most popular just purely for the sake of consuming the food.
Yeah, it's the number one staple food because people eat it by itself.
Yes.
Yeah, we have to do something about the sugar. I know we're at the end of this episode and we're out of time for this, but I was reading this thing. Apparently, there was the sugar industry basically buried this study about the links from cancer studies about the effects of high fructose corn syrup, and like that train done left the station like 40 years ago, and everything is just 80% sugar at this point, and I don't know if we yes, climate change is going to kill us all eventually, but if we make it that far, it'll be only because we did something about the sugar situation, which is out of control.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So, Austin.
That's me.
Ask me how I take my coffee.
You just drink it right out of the bean. You just get a mouthful of beans and you just suck it.
Black with no sugar. Now watch me bungee jump off this bridge.
It does seem like something you'd do. Be like, no, I'm really into whole natural beans, just raw beans. I don't even consume them anymore. I just put them around me and I just kind of soak up their chakras or whatever.
I sleep in them.
That's
it. just buried in them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we're out of time. I'm sorry. We talked about rice so much.
No, it's fine. Johnny, just to, I actually made couscous recently.
Like classic couscous or what is known as Israeli couscous?
Oh my God, dude. I don't know. I just bought a box and followed the direction.
Leon, your actual just complete and total done with him tone was so good.
Israeli couscous is a pasta.
Oh
no, it looked like rice when it was done. So and then I ate it and it was good.
I know more about grains than I should.
That's fine. No, I'm glad you do. So you can tell me. Okay. Anything you guys want to say before we go?
I'm really excited that Steve Bannon has turned into a swarm of stinging flies, like the ones that bite you, and that he's now loose in the White House, just infecting everyone with West Nile virus or whatever he's doing. I didn't really read the articles.
Oh, he's still bad. He's just he's less focused in how bad he is.
I mean, obviously he's a swarm of biting flies, Leon. Of course he's bad.
Yeah, he's just also biting the bad people. That doesn't look. And I tried to say something about this earlier, and then I didn't. Please don't anyone think good of Steve Bannon just because he doesn't like the president now. Everyone's going to turn on the president eventually. He took a while. He's not great now just because he's also like thumbing his nose at President Trump. Everyone is eventually going to turn on this man. If anything, Steve Bannon is behind. So
the most relatable tweet of our time was that I didn't know the lion was going to eat my face. Sobbed the woman who voted for the Lions Eating Faces party. Or it might have been an Onion headline.
It's fine. All right. Let's leave.
Johnny, you didn't say anything dumb.
No, I'm ready. My pick of the year, or my pick, guys, for grain of the year has got to be Pharaoh. Pharaoh 2017. You killed it, Pharaoh.
Also, my pick for new Overwatch main in 2018.
No.
Austin, that was Farah. Fuck.
That's Farro. Pharaoh.
I ruined the whole joke. I'm bad.
Yeah, that's. Would you like some soup?
I haven't played Overwatch since it came out. I found the tweet.
Some Pharaoh soup?
It's full credit is Adrian Bott, who said, "I never thought leopards would eat my face," sobs woman who voted for the leopards eating people's faces party. Feels good to give credit where it's due. Everyone should try. Yeah. Leon left like 20 minutes ago. He abandoned us.
No, I'm here. I just have to. I really have to leave because I have to go to sleep early. I gotta wake up I gotta wake up really, really early. So because there's a storm. The storm has a special name. Cold ball.
That's
like
it.
That.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cold ball is coming.
Johnny learned a technique for kicking them.
I was going to say that sounds oddly close to a technique that I've actually learned.
Yeah, the cold ball is happening where MagFest is happening, so I have to try to arrive. I basically my plans are to arrive much earlier than it begins, so I have to go now.
Before we desync, can you just do me a favor and look at the
Yes.
Pwease no Steppy just like real close, drink it in with your eye meat, and then just tell me how
No,
it
I
makes you
saw
feel?
I saw it. I guess it makes me feel good, but you know what? Here's the thing. I think I have seen this before.
Okay, good.
It just didn't occur to me that that's what it was. I see a lot of images, dude.
Yeah.
I just want to let you guys know that a local movie theater was doing a back-to-back screening of the final cut of Blade Runner and then Blade Runner 2049, but I decided to do this tonight.
Well, I mean, you wouldn't get back
liter-
till Saturday, so
I mean, I literally did that for Blade Runner 2049. It was fun. Yeah, let's go.
Pwease to sync.